Hello, and welcome to another video. I know it's been quite some time. It's kind of been a lot going on. But anyways, you might notice I'm not in my room at home, and I'm not in my dorm room at school. And that is because I'm in Philadelphia. Let's see. Yes, so pre-COVID, so last year, like early 2020, I found out that I had an internship in Iowa, and because of COVID, that got canceled, or postponed, not canceled, to this summer. But then, there's another twist. The professor that I was supposed to be doing research with actually got another position elsewhere as the department head. So that internship, unfortunately, also fell through. But through my advisors and school, I was able to find another internship here in Philadelphia. And my internship is with the Gift of Life Donor Program. Now, for those of you who might not know, the Gift of Life Donor Program is one of the nation's largest organ procurement organizations, or OPO. So there's actually a lot more than just UNOS that's involved in organ donation. There are 52 OPOs in the United States, and they each kind of cover a region, but we can get into that another time. Anyway, so what I'm doing for my internship is basically working with a bunch of different departments that make up the Gift of Life. So far I've been working with the Tissue Recovery team, I've worked with the Transplant Information Center team, worked with the Quality Assurance team, and I've also worked at the Family House. I'll go in a little bit in depth to each of those. So the Tissue Recovery team, you may know, but in addition to organ donation, people can also donate tissue. So that includes like skin, your musculoskeletal system, so you can donate humerus, femurs, as well as adipose tissue. It can be used in burn victims or different orthopedic procedures. So I've actually gotten to observe a bunch of tissue recovery cases, which has been really cool, just because you get to see a lot of anatomy and also understanding how that process works. The TIC kind of works in a sense like a 911 call center, wherein anytime, and this is newer actually, it's a law now, but hospitals have to call their respective OPO, and in this case the Gift of Life, when they have a patient who dies. And after they give a bunch of basic information, including like age, other demographics, brief medical history, they're either put into a possible donor or like not possible donor. And so once that happens, the Gift of Life has another team called the Transplant Coordinators, which are basically people who help families through the process of understanding organ donation. And so they can go and talk to the family and kind of help facilitate that conversation there. But then also within the TIC, they have to call possible recipients, or at least the surgeons. So the way that works is through UNOS, as you've probably heard on Grey's Anatomy and any other medically related show really. But UNOS compiles a list, and so that's based off of recipients' criteria that's inputted by their physician. And based off that list, that's the order that the TIC will call. So they call the first surgeon and say, hey, I have, for example, a kidney, right? And the surgeon can decide, oh, this kidney is like really great, yeah, I want that kidney. And then that's who the kidney will go to. But a lot of times, the kidney is not healthy enough or good enough. There are also times where the surgeon might decide that the kidney isn't healthy enough or has too much plaque buildup in it, and so they will pass on that. So that means rather than calling 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we'll call 2, 3, 4, and 6, and that cycle continues until we're able to find a recipient or a recipient surgeon who wants to accept the kidney for their patient, and then that person will get the transplant. But sometimes, if the kidney or other organ is in really bad condition, we'll have to call other states even. So when I was working in the TIC, some of the team members there, we made a call to Florida, and we made a call to California because the kidneys were not in very good condition. And so they know that there's certain surgeons who are willing to take on kidneys or other organs that are not as in good condition. This is not necessarily based on who is the sickest. Before I had started working at the Gift of Life, I had always just thought that whoever was the sickest got the organ regardless. But it's actually based on a success rate. And so what that means is that, say there's a healthy 20-year-old who is an organ donor and has great kidneys, right? They're not going to give that kidney to, let's say, an 80-year-old who's really, really sick, right? They're going to try and give that kidney to a person who is younger, so that kidney will have a longer lifespan in their recipient. So like I said, basically not based on who's the sickest, based on the highest success / like efficiency rate, I guess you could also say. Tissue recovery is mostly done at the Gift of Life. Typically it's done by a surgical technician who has undergone an additional year of training through the Gift of Life, where they're trained in certain surgical procedures on the donor who's donating tissue. And so I've been able to observe many of those and actually been able to scrub in on a few, which is really cool because I've never been able to scrub in an operating room, just because with hospitals it's a little bit different with the rules and regulations and such. So I've been able to learn sterile technique, gowning, gloving, which has been awesome because, like I said, I've never been able to do that. Yeah, and been able to learn a lot of different anatomy and see it hands-on and in person. You know, it's not really anything you're gonna get to see for a while anywhere else. And then the family house. The family house is very unique, actually, to the Gift of Life. Basically what it is a hotel for recipients and their families that provides low cost or free housing. And you might ask why. Well, it's because there are some families who might come from, like how we're calling transplant surgeons in California and Florida. There might be families who have to come from California and Florida, or, you know, anywhere else really that's far away. And they need a place to stay while they're either waiting for the surgery, or they're in a recovery phase undergoing some sort of rehabilitation or physical therapy to help them adapt to their new organ and recover from the surgery. And so it's an incredible resource. I actually got to work with one of the social workers there and speak with some recipients on their experience. It's incredibly empowering and just a wonderful, beautiful thing the Gift of Life does. And I mentioned before transplant coordinators. So transplant coordinators are basically people, like I said, people who facilitate conversations with the family, but also facilitate in the OR. They kind of keep everything on the lock, make sure all the surgeons are cooperating. I've heard it can get kind of feisty in there with a surgeon who's recovering the heart versus the kidney versus the lungs, all that good stuff. But the goal eventually, I think mid-July, is when we will be on call with the transplant coordinators. So we won't have like any scheduled work at the Gift of Life office, but in fact we'll, like I said, be on call. And so if at 3 a.m. We get a call saying, hey, there's a kidney that's being recovered, or that's going to be recovered at Thomas Jefferson. We'll drive there, meet up with the transplant coordinator, and see the whole process through. I've heard it can be a very long day, 24 plus hours, but if that's what it takes to see incredible work like that, I'll take it. Besides the internship, Philly's been great so far. We have our apartment, so I'm rooming with two other people. One of them is another intern from Juniata with me, and then the other is an intern who's working more in the family house specifically. from UDEL, but I think they're both asleep right now, so we won't bother them. But yeah, so we actually got an Airbnb. And then you might think, what? Airbnb is so much more expensive. Now hear me out. There's either 6-month or 12-month leases. So why would we pay for 6 months or 12 months when we're only going to be here for a summer? And so Airbnb actually worked out perfectly for us. It's like a 12-minute walk to work. We can also drive because there is parking on site, which is so great. Like if you live in a city and free parking, awesome. But yeah, so it's kind of like a condominium complex that we're in, and very, very close to work, which is amazing. But yeah, I've also been able to get involved with a church around here called City Light, which I have just enjoyed so incredibly much, and am so thankful that I was able to find that church. And excuse me, I was also able to get involved with a small group, or what they call City Group. And one thing that's really cool about City Light is that they have this policy called the 2-minute rule, and you're supposed to say at least 2 minutes after the service and talk to someone that you don't know, or talk with people that you do know, or just talk to people. And I think it's a really cool idea. And it worked out beautifully for me because the guy who was sitting right in front of me turned around, introduced himself as one of the City Group leaders, which is actually like super close to where I am. It's just like 8 blocks away or so. And so I was able to get connected there literally on my first day. And it was just such a blessing. So I've been able to attend there for several weeks now, and been a part of that City Group, and really just enjoying getting to know the people there. But in addition to that, I've been trying to explore the city a bunch. I've been down to Spruce Street Harbor Park twice now, actually. Went on a hike the other weekend, went home for Father's Day, so I didn't really do exploring then. But yeah, it's a pretty cool city. Not as much nature, which is a little rough for me. But it's also really cool to experience a city because I've never lived in a big city before. But anyways, let's do a quick apartment tour. So right here, we have my ever comfy bed. It's like memory foam. Super comfortable, absolutely love it. We have a nice little light over there, providing all your background lighting that you could ever need. Just here short term, so this is my nightstand, 2 milk crates, but you know, it makes do. We have some ever lovely plants. I turned the AC off for now because it's too loud and you couldn't hear me talk, so I'll deal with it for a little bit. Over here I have a little desk, which as you can see is ever messy, but it makes do. Again, kind of roughing it, but another milk crate to hold shorts and shirts. I have a little closet here, mostly filled with dress clothes because internship equals professionalism. I got a nifty little towel rack to hang my towels and conveniently also my hat. Out here we have our hallway. Have a little bathroom right here, but yeah, it works. Right here we have some random art, but I think it adds a nice touch. Over here we have a full-length mirror in the middle of the hallway space. Lovely flowers, lovely flowers. Our table, nice little couch, a TV we have never used yet. And over here we have our lovely kitchen. I've actually been trying to do a lot of cooking, which has resulted in dirty dishes. Yeah, cooking has actually been going pretty well so far. I messed up the first recipe that I made, but from there on it's been going pretty well. I'm actually kind of enjoying it, so fun surprise there. But yeah, that is all for now. Kind of like a brief introduction, I guess, to my summer internship. I'll definitely be making some more videos on what my days look like, and I'll try and get some when I'm on call too, and maybe a tissue recovery case or so. I think that'd be really cool to share with you guys. So anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.